Talk about buttered sausage.
Hey you, if you don't know, that buttered sausage was Gary Busey, a really famous actor from like the early 90s to 2000s. If you haven't heard of him, your mom probably has. He's one of those actors, right? The reason I bring him up is while I was searching around for movies to watch one night, you know, just scrolling through Tubi, as I always do, I stumbled upon this movie with Gary Busey named Quigley. Quigley. This just seemed like a weird little movie from the early 2000s in that weird era where everybody was making a movie about dogs that could like talk or where people were turned into dogs or something. Seriously though, what was with that era? We had like Beverly Hills Chihuahua, the like 8 Beverly Hills Chihuahuas that were made. There was Air Bud. I'm pretty sure there was one about hockey. There's fucking Marmaduke, and then there's the Shaggy Dog. Sorry, that cover art is terrifying. It scares me every time oh my god. Anyways, this movie is about Archie Channing, played by Gary Busey, who is a jaded CEO of a tech corporation who dies in a car accident. And this is straight from the description. To atone for his sins, God has Archie return to Earth in the form of a white Pomeranian named Quigley. That description alone made me want to watch this 10 times more, but I like to do my research, right? I like to stay informed on these movies, and apparently, on set for this movie, Gary got extremely mad at the production crew because the version of heaven that they built for the movie didn't match the visions of heaven he had when he got into a motorcycle accident. Which is already crazy enough, right? But what's even crazier is that apparently another actor on set also had a near-death experience where they claim they saw heaven, and him and Gary got into a fist fight over it on set. I don't know how, but that story needs to be in a museum somewhere, because what? What do you mean they got into a fist fight over what heaven looks like on the set of Quigley? Now keep in mind, this is specifically a Christian movie, which I could make a whole video about. And I might do that. But no, we're here for just Quigley, and honestly, I'm really just excited to see what heaven looks like in the eyes of the Quigley production team, because clearly it was divisive enough that Gary Busey got into a fist fight over it. So we open up with what I can only assume is the storyboard drawings that they just threw in for the credits. I don't know, it feels very like film production class, but we're 5 seconds in. I can't judge yet, right? We get this like weirdly ominous music as Gary shows up looking really angry. You wanna know why he's looking angry? There's a dog. There's a dog over there. That's why. They just kind of use this to set up that he really doesn't like dogs, which is like central to the plot, but not really. It doesn't really make sense. He just like really hates dogs. I don't know. Gary chases after the dog and slips on some dog poop, and that's gotta be pretty embarrassing, Gare. I wonder how he's gonna respond.
I want everyone that owns a dog executed.
Well, Jesus, Gary. Oh, it's a little bit harsh, man. What the hell? If you've ever even thought about owning a dog, you should be eliminated immediately. Yeah, I said it. All dog owners must die. We get a little bit more of an intro from these two with a soothing R&B track behind them. Kind of feels like they're about to get to know each other a little bit better if you catch my drift. On the right, we have Archie Channing, who's played by Gary Busey, and then on the left, we have Dexter Pursley, who is played by Curtis Armstrong, also a pretty massive actor from like the 80s to 2000s. I really don't know how they pulled these big actors for Quigley, but okay, I guess they're here. We follow Gary to his office, and what in the Spy Kids 4 is this room? To be fair, it is sick. It's sick as hell. I would work in here, but like, why does he have the fucking statues of Amun-Ra sitting behind him? The sun god blesses this deal, Tu-en-Ra un-Kamperu un-Ametu Amara. Anyways, he tells Dexter that they've got a meeting with some bigwigs and they want to show off their virtual reality CD-ROM.
Don't forget our appointment in the morning. I want to play my virtual reality CD-ROM for you.
Whatever that means. I think they just threw a bunch of tech words into a sentence and were like, that sounds cool, because what? This is 2003. What do you mean virtual reality CD-ROM? But that's not important. What's important is that he leaves his office and pops in said virtual reality CD-ROM into his CD player so he can listen to it. I have to say, rich guy on the license plate, kind of fire. The CD that he's listening to mentions that Dexter will be handling our new animal policy, which is very strict, by the way, so I think he was serious. I think he's actually going to exterminate every pet owner. This guy needs to go to jail. What the fuck, man? Holy shit, Gary, watch out for that white Pomeranian randomly in the middle of the road. Watch out. Oh my god, he's gonna hit him. Oh my god, ah! So Gary dies in that car crash because he avoided the dog, which, yeah, it's kind of nice. You know, he avoided the dog, sacrificed his own life, right? Which means he goes to heaven, and this is the heaven that they got into a fist fight over. I mean, honestly, if I was like super Christian and I saw this and they were like, yeah, this is heaven, you know, that couch that we put the cover on so you don't get crumbs on it, and the middle school picture day blue wallpaper in the background. Welcome to heaven, guys. Isn't it great? I'd probably start a fist fight. Also, what is with all the fog in here? Oh my God. What I can only assume are the angels start roasting the shit out of him for like being a bad boss and firing people on a whim, and he doesn't care. They're all chatting a bunch of shit to him and he's just like, yeah, no, I did those things. Can I go back now? Am I cool? Can I go? I'm sorry, guys. We get this reject Book of Mormon character talking to him. He leans over and he's like, hey, Gary, because you don't like dogs, we're actually gonna turn you into one. Sorry. And then this happens.
Your name is Quigley.
What the hell? They just got straight to the point. There was no deliberation. There was no Gary pleading scene or anything. There was just, you're Quigley now. And I do have to say, for being a Christian movie, they really do make the angels seem like the bad guys. They're like constantly really mean to Gary, which I know they set him up as a bad guy, but like I thought heaven was all about forgiveness, you know? I thought evil people went to hell. I didn't think they get sent up to heaven and then get tortured. Like, what the fuck, man? Also, apparently Evan Hansen is the only one that can see him as Gary. Everybody else sees him as the White Pomeranian, which just sounds amazing.
Say, you could bark if you like. Why don't you give it a try? Just...
Oh my God, they turned him into a Discord mod. Seriously though, I can't imagine how awkward this scene was, especially if this was the dude that he got into a fist fight over about the accuracy of heaven. No, dude, I told you, there was no couch in heaven. And then Gary's coming up, he's like, yes, there was. Like, I really just want to be a fly on the wall in that conversation and see what really happened, you know? Anyways, the fog machine teleports them back to Earth, and this guy, the angel guy, who I'm like 90% sure they'd never name in the movie once, tells Gary that he's got 2 missions, and if he does them, he can go through the gates. I didn't know they made Purgatory like a shitty fetch quest mission. Gary, kill 7 boars, Gary, and we'll let you in.
Oh, I don't think they'd approve of your hurried attitude.
That was a dumb thing to say.
So, what was that? That did not feel like a part of the movie. That felt like a full-on Gary character break. He was like, oh, I don't think they'll approve of your hurried little attitude. And he's just, you shouldn't have done that. Please don't hurt me, man. Please don't hurt me. There's no couch. I'm sorry. There's no couch. But anyways, they get started on their quest, their long journey, and oh, they put him on a leash. What is even happening anymore, man?
Who is this?
His name's Quigley, and he's left to have his ears pinched.
What an odd thing to point out. Do you think they're doing this to like torture Gary? Do you think they know he doesn't like any of this? So they like, oh, okay, never mind. I think Gary's a little into this. We get some more dialogue, and they never actually tell Gary what he needs to do. They're just like, yeah, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. And then the angel guy just dips. So now it's just Gary as a dog. He's Quigley from now on. Dexter gives us this big spiel about not being able to find the virtual reality CD-ROM.
Virtual reality CD-ROM.
Which they do say the full name every single time they talk about it. But apparently they were a game studio, and that CD is talking about an interactive game they were trying to sell. Which, keep in mind, this movie came out in 2003. That's before World of Warcraft. What were they trying to make? The Virtual Boy 2? Like, what do you mean a virtual reality game from 2003?
He envisioned our interactive games to perform like no others. He saw the AC Diamex with the dual pads and the triple joysticks to be playing in every home in America.
We're gonna put a console with 7 joysticks, 28 buttons, 3 handles in every home in America, and they're going to love it. Cutting back to Quigley, he gets locked inside this janitor's closet, and for some reason the janitor is like comedically German.
Someone has placed a chair in front of the door without folding it up first.
Was ist dies? A chair has been placed in front of the door. Mein Führer finally gets the door open and starts investigating the apparent dog issue in the closet. And, you know, I'll be the one to call it out. It's a little weird that they're implementing an exterminate all dogs policy and the janitor who's looking for the dog is German. Little on the nose there, guys. Quigley quickly... Whoa, that's hard to say. Quigley quickly. Quigley quietly sneaks under the janitor's legs and makes it out of the closet. Say that 5 times fast. Bitch. You're not a... I don't know why I called you a bitch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But we get more we get more dialogue from Dexter and his assistant where I think they explain that Gary retired like the day before he crashed and anamorphed into Quigley, because they keep just saying, he's gone, Dex. He's gone. But not in like a he's dead way, like this is so sad. It's more like a, oh shit, he retired, what are we gonna do now? Sarah leaves the room and Dexter starts talking to himself about how things are gonna go his way now and Archie's ways are done. But little does he know, Archie's in the room with us right now. Well, it's actually Quigley. It's just Quigley. Also, what kind of a name is Quigley, man? I cannot imagine naming my dog Quigley. I feel like even your dog's gonna get bullied with that name. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna go to the dog park and like Scout and Buster are gonna beat the shit out of him for being named Quigley. Dexter leaves the room and Quigley just starts destroying his office for some reason before the angel shows up to stop him.
I hope God forgives you.
Did you hear what he said?
Jesus, Gary. That actually made me uncomfortable. Little warning next time. That was actually awful. Why? He looks like the fourth long-lost member of the Misfits. What is this? He looks like that AI-generated Mark Zuckerberg meme. Anyways, the angel tells him to stop peeing on that guy's briefcase because God sees everything. And then we cut back to the janitor who is absolutely appalled by the mess in Dexter's office.
What does they think I am? The cleaning service?
I really want to know if the casting call asked for someone who was German. I want to know if they were like, yeah, we need like a really German guy to play the janitor. Or if he just kind of did that in the audition and they were like, oh my God, holy shit, it's perfect. It's just what we were looking for. Gary decides to go back into the janitor's closet for some reason, and the line delivery here is just, whoa, it's a masterpiece.
That's great. That's terrific. I see you really know how to take great care of yourself.
What's that supposed to mean?
Now keep in mind, this is a Christian movie, so it's pretty obvious that the main focus is about teaching you morals and teaching you to like be nice to everybody and all that, but why is he a dog? Why Quigley? Couldn't they have just like Christmas caroled him and called it a day? Personally, I feel like naming him Quigley is punishment enough, you know what I mean? The angel guy starts really making fun of him, like you should have had friends, maybe even a girlfriend, to which Gary replies, women are like dogs.
Can't trust men. You can't trust your friends. And women are like dogs.
Crazy statement in the first place. But then I think they kind of lose the plot a little here because the angel's rebuttal is he just starts naming inventions by women.
What do fire escapes, bulletproof vests, windshield wipers, and laser printers have in common?
It's a trick question.
Nope. But I'll tell you the answer just so you don't lose any sleep tonight. All of those things I just named were invented by women.
Which, like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but how would that change his mind? You know, I really hated women. But then I found out they made the laser printer. That shit's awesome, dude. I love women now. Like, is that really what he expected to happen? Also, they've been showing a lot of shots of the outside of this building, and this doesn't matter at all, but I'm like 90% sure that this building is the same one from Zombies, which is just a crazy coincidence, considering how niche both of those movies are. Lady, put him down. Lady, that's not a cute dog. Lady, oh my God, lady, run. We get more shots with the janitor, and they really just make this so weird with the fact that he's German. Like, this has to be on purpose. I am very convinced that this is on purpose.
Doggy! Doggy! Where are your papers?
What? Okay, that cemented that one, this was definitely some weird Nazi parallel, and two, that was not in the casting call, that was an ad-lib. What? Of all the movies to have the villain be paralleled to a Nazi, I was not expecting it to be fucking Quigley. They keep mentioning that they tore Archie's office apart, but they just couldn't find the CD no matter where they looked. But in the scene from earlier, he literally just puts it under this like statue and calls it a day. It's like the statue's leaned over because the CD's under it. I feel like an 8th grader could find that. I feel like a blind, deaf 8th grader could find that. I don't know how being deaf would stop him at all, but never mind. Quigley just starts doing shit. He starts pushing this chair down the hallway, and Sarah is just fascinated by it. She's like, oh my God, it's our little miracle. Quigley eventually leads her back to Archie's office and scratches this drawer, hops in it, scratches this file a little bit, and then just kind of hops out. He doesn't really do anything in there. I don't know why he goes in there, but he goes over to a different shelf, not where they hid the CD originally, mind you, and grabs the CD, and Sarah just doesn't care. Like, this scene just doesn't make any sense because Sarah does not care at all. He picks up the CD and she's just like, hey, that's the virtual reality CD-ROM that we were looking for. That's awesome, Quigley. Thank you. And then he drops it 2 inches and it shatters. Sucks. But again though, nobody cares. They're all just like, oh man, he broke the CD. Darn. Like, I guess the first half of this movie did not matter at all. I think that was like his first objective. I don't know. Also, there's this like little romantic subplot between Dexter and his assistant Sarah, and that part doesn't matter, but it culminates in them like bonding over the fact that maybe dogs aren't so bad, and they pick him up and they just start rubbing his belly, and just imagining that that's actually their boss and Gary Busey just being tickled down here. It's just it makes me feel really uncomfortable actually. Gary gets outside and meets up with the angel and starts asking a bunch more questions.
I'd have a better time cleaning a short person's teeth.
What? That had to be a Gary Busey original, because what does that even mean? What, is this like a dentist situation? Would you rather be a dentist than doing this? Because I feel like that wouldn't be that bad. But like, how short? What is that response? Please tell me if that's like a real saying, because that's crazy. Anyways, the angel finally tells him what his actual assignment is, which is to help his estranged brother Woodward, who is a lost cause because he spends more time taking care of his family than he knows what's good for him. Ah, that loser. He spends so much time with his loving wife and beautiful kids and hanging out with his beautiful family all day instead of barking at shareholders and wearing the sick-ass collar. What an idiot. But with that knowledge, Gary runs off to go find Woodward, but before he can get there, he gets captured by animal control. Bum, bum, bum. This causes the angel to go look for him in a park, which I only bring up to mention that whenever the angel starts talking to God, it's like lightning in the corner and he just like looks up, so it'll be like this. Okay, yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Lord, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll go. Which honestly, I think is actually a pretty cool way of doing it. I think it's a lot more unique than doing like the big booming voice, so props to the movie for that one. Anyways, we cut back to Quigley in like Leatherface's dog kennel. Seriously, like what is this? This is terrifying. Is this a saw trap or a kennel? You wanna fetch a ball? The angel comes in like a weird ref jersey, and Gary's locked in this cage, and this really feels like a weird fetish video. I don't know. I'm not fucking with this so far.
Get me out of here. Or adopt me. Just adopt me.
Okay, now it really feels like a weird fetish video. I do not like this, Gary. Please stop. Gary and the other dog in his kennel escape, and now he's on the run from the law. The dog law. This is the last time we ever see animal control. They just like completely drop this plot line later on. He makes it to his brother's house and narrowly saves the daughter from getting slammed by this car, and oh my god, Gary. Gary, stop. Gary, what are you doing? Gary, that's a child. Honestly, for the most part, this doesn't feel like a typical Christian movie until you hit the parts where they talk about heaven in like excruciating detail and how wonderful it is and how it definitely is real and exists and how they can't wait to go to it. But that's besides the point. We find out that his brother's also making a video game, and he's working like 3 part-time jobs at the same time just to make it happen, but he's still hopeful to get it done and make it big in the gaming industry. How coincidental.
Your video games are sensational, and they're almost finished. Besides, you made a promise to me a long time ago that you were going to make video games for kids even their parents would approve of.
Oh boy, nothing screams sensational game like so good even the parents approve of it. What is he making, Purple Place? When did Purple Place come out actually? Hold on, he might be. He might actually be making that. 2007, okay, he's a few years off. Later in the night, they show off a little bit of Dad's game and wow. This looks awesome. I cannot wait to play this one. I would definitely put all of my financial concerns onto this game. The next morning, the daughter randomly decides that she's gonna go make sure the signs are still up because they haven't gotten a call yet, with this really strange R&B music in the background. I don't know, this movie loves putting these like really out of place R&B songs in the background that just like really do not fit the vibe of the movie, but I'm kind of here for it. Anyways, mom freaks out and finds out daughter is missing, so they sprint out of the house to look for her, and this shot of her throwing her hood up while they run out just made me laugh because it feels so awkward. She's freaking out some more. She calls the police and they all start looking for her, and Quigley gets out and goes on the hunt for the daughter. That sounded weirder than I wanted. Gary starts talking to the angel, being like, please help us find her, and then the angel completely ignores him and then goes, hey Gary, give me a hug.
Can I have a hug?
What?
Hug.
No. Don't hug. Hey, good, fake.
Why did he do that? That genuinely had no plot significance. I have no idea what that was, but we're just gonna move past that and pretend it didn't happen. Anyways, eventually Quigley finds the daughter. Stronger now. Doggy brings daughter back home, and it feels like Quigley might have finally done his job. He might finally be free to go up into the pearly gates and eat all the buttered sausage he wants. Jesus, man. I like to believe that wasn't in the script at all. He did actually just eat shit and they left it in because it was funny. The angel tells him that he still hasn't finished his job and that he has to go because he's filthy, and we get this shot.
Look, I gotta go. I'm filthy.
Shake yourself dry.
That's your job, Archie.
Just shake yourself dry.
This movie is at least 70% weirder solely because Gary Busey's in it, and I love that. Woodward gets home absolutely devastated because he just got dropped from his job, and the mom's like, well, maybe I should go back to work. And he's like, no, you need to stay here and raise the kids. Which, I want to say, I don't think is inherently a bad thing. If like one of the parents wants to stay home to raise the kids, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that's a pretty common choice, right? But if you're working 3 damn jobs just to keep you guys barely afloat, maybe let your wife get a job, man. Maybe just let her get a job, you know what I mean? Later in the night, everybody's asleep, quiet as a mouse. Quigley gets up to go play the game on the dad's PC, and it somehow knows that he's Archie. It opens up and is like, hello, Archie.
Welcome, Archie. What would you like to do?
Which is really creepy. I don't know. I don't know why this is in here, but okay. But we get a little bit more of the game, and this game is genuinely just watching shittily drawn animals skip a stone. Like, this isn't even enough to be a mini game in Club Penguin. How are you going to build a fortune off of this, man? Also, a lot of the shots of this game feel like it's about to turn into one of those like horror ARGs, like Kinito Pet or something, you know what I mean? The next morning, Quigley gets caught playing the game, and he runs off with the DVD, and the dad starts freaking out because that was his only copy, which, make more, man. I don't know why you would only have 1 copy of your prized possession game, but okay. Anyways, he eventually makes it back to Archie's old headquarters, and yeah, no, this is 100% the building from Zombies. The dog drops the CD off on Dexter's desk, and he's obviously trying to give his old company the game so Woodward can finally get out of his financial strife, which, fair enough, that'd probably what I do too. But Dexter finds it, starts playing it, and he absolutely loves the game. He's like, this is the best game I've ever played. All of our other games are dog shit, and that's actually what he says. He's like, all of our other games are terrible. We need to buy this game. Woodward comes sprinting in looking for his game, and then we get this.
If we were to offer you, say, $500,000 to develop video games exclusively for us, what would you say to that?
Like in a year, or like one big lump sum forever? Because I mean, okay, this is 2003, so that's like what, $880,000. So there's no way that they're offering him that much a year right off the bat. But I mean, okay, I'd take it. But what a strange offer. With this, the angel comes in, and I guess they can see him now because he's like, hey, that's my dog. Grabs Quigley and walks out with him. He gets brought back to heaven, where he repents for almost causing a bunch of accidents and doing the no-no on that guy's briefcase.
You did the no-no on that man's briefcase.
But while he's apologizing, God comes in and starts booming in and just starts roasting the shit out of Archie. He's being like so mean. He's like, you are a vile cretin. You are not worthy of being up here. And I guess he's actually is alive. What an amazing shot, by the way. He's just...
And faith alone.
So I guess this was actually all a dream, and he starts talking to Dexter about how he wants to revise the company and make it better for everybody. So I guess they did Christmas Carol him in a way. I don't know. They go back to Woodward and offer him the job again because none of that was real. And then the movie is finally over. That was a weird one. They never really explained what part was real or not. I think literally the entire movie was a figment of Archie's imagination, starting from the car crash, because again, none of it was real at all. Also, for a Christian movie, they did not spend nearly as much time talking about Christian stuff as they did talking about how awesome dogs are. Half of this movie is like, you should love dogs because dogs are cool, which is a movement I can get behind, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't expecting it, you know what I mean? To be completely honest, I think 90% of why this movie was so weird is just because Gary Busey's here, and he's just such a hilarious actor to watch. Any movie Gary Busey's in is just so fucking funny, and I don't know how much of it's intentional or if he's just like a weird dude, but I will watch all of them. But with that being said, my name is Prisk. Reggie's back there now. I don't even know if you can see him anymore. And I'll see you in heaven, I guess? I don't... Oh, God.
Your name is Quigley.